Hi, and welcome to Journey Forward with Joree Rose, where you will gain insights, tools, and inspiration to get unstuck and live your best life. Joree is a licensed marriage and family therapist with a passion for helping people cultivate awareness and authenticity so they can show up fully in all aspects of their life. And now, here's Joree.
Hey everyone, it's Joree. I am so excited to share this week's episode with you, especially after being on hiatus over the summer. And I've got so many amazing conversations to share with you that I cannot wait to release. But I did want to say, make sure to stay tuned to the end of the episode where I share about a September masterclass that I am hosting titled What Now? I'll leave the details for you to listen in today's episode, but there is a link in the show notes for you to register. The September Masterclass is happening on Wednesday, September 28th. I cannot wait to share with you all that I've been working on, all the tools that I am going through in my own life that I always so very vulnerably share with my audience, and most importantly, how to journey forward to live your best life possible. Enjoy today's episode on how motherhood is such a mindfuck. Talk with you all soon. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited to dive in with you guys today. I had a much needed break over the summer. If any of you follow me on social media, you will have seen that I went to Italy. Oh, I just want to live in Italy. Any place where I can eat pizza and pasta every single day and lose weight. It's just a magical land that I want to live in forever, combined with amazing scenery and just lovely people. So I had a lovely summer of doing some travel, and now I am here at what is one of the biggest transitions in my life. And again, if you follow me on social media, and if you don't, check me out on Instagram at Joree Rose. Just the past 2 weeks, I have launched both of my daughters into one, a more permanent phase and one, a temporary phase. But nonetheless, I've launched them both at once. And today's episode is going to be me sharing about my journey of what it's like to be shifting my own role as a mom to adult daughters, what it is like for me to be in the mix, in the process of what one of my clients calls the soup of and I'll talk about what that means in a minute. And probably the most important piece of this is how to rediscover and reclaim and reinvent who I am outside of my role as a mom. So to give some context, if you have known about me over the years, I have two daughters. My oldest is 18. She just started her freshman year of college. She is at the university of her choice. She got into her number one school, and I could not be more thrilled for her. And her going off to college has been a moment I have been dreading since I was pregnant. I didn't have that huge emotional range in my pregnancy where I was really hormonal and would cry all the time. In fact, I only remember one time that I really broke down and cried. And I had just watched a movie with Susan Sarandon and Natalie Portman, I forget the name, where Natalie Portman goes off to college. And I was pregnant. And at the end of the movie, I just was sobbing uncontrollably. And I remember crawling up into my husband's lap and saying, she's going to go to college one day. And of course, this is the natural trajectory and progression of life. Of course, this is a good thing. Of course, this is what is supposed to happen. All of that is true. And it is a moment I have been dreading for 19 years. So while I'm processing that, at the very same time, my younger daughter, who is 16, went to Israel for a semester abroad for 4 months. And she's in 11th grade, and she was supposed to go to Israel last semester. So she would have been gone in January. But through a series of serendipitous events, she decided last minute not to go at that time and realized, while at first it seemed like the right time to go, it was the right time until it was no longer the right time. And she with very much wisdom, made the choice to postpone it. And she left 4 days before I took my daughter to college. And wow, I am still processing. So I'll be doing some of that here with you guys. So thank you for listening and for sharing in the journey with me. I launched them in the same week. And my ex-husband and I and my two daughters, we went to New York for the weekend because my daughter was leaving for Israel. The group was leaving out of New York. So we all went to New York for the weekend. That's a whole other conversation on what a mindful divorce looks like and being able to show up and be present and co-parent in a really honest and authentic and beautiful way. And saying goodbye to my daughter at the airport before she boarded a flight to Israel. And I will see her in 2 months. I'm going to visit for Parent Week, and she'll be home in 4 months. Saying goodbye to her was one of the most gut-wrenching things I've ever had to do. She and I are very close, and the thought of her being on the other side of the world just felt like my heart was breaking. And I did it, and she did it, and she got through it. And she's there, and she's happy, and she's loving her experience so far. And after she left for Israel, then my older daughter and I left the next morning to go to Chicago. We spent some time in Chicago before driving to Madison. And so 4 days after Cami left for Israel, I moved Ari into the dorms. And the next morning, I flew home to an empty house. I think this was harder than my divorce. And I've had so many people say, oh, but they're so happy. They're doing great. They're thriving. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. And yes, all of that is true. And I'm grieving. I'm grieving the loss of their childhoods being done. I'm grieving the empty house that used to be filled with laughter and fun and Friends playing in the background, like Friends, the TV show, not necessarily Friends being over, but that too. I'm grieving in the not knowing of like, how do I move through my day in a way that I never have any other time before in my life? And it's hard, and it's been painful, and I've been sad. And I have to say, the night I got home, I was getting into bed and I pulled back my covers, and both of my daughters, before they left, had left me notes on my pillow. I can't even begin to describe the emotion I felt as I saw their notes, because it was such pride in, I raised them to know that that would be a thing that not only I would like, but that they knew me well enough to know that, but to also know that it was like a loving, generous act to take the time to thank me and have gratitude for my support on their journeys and express their love and that they're going to miss me. And it was just such sadness. So like the shit is real, you guys. And yet, in my grief, in my sadness, there is a huge and. And the and is, oh my God, like this is actually kind of amazing. For the first time in my life, and I actually really mean for the first time in my life, maybe college was the only time, but I don't think that's accurate, because I finished college in 3 years to catch up to my boyfriend who became my husband. Like I was always focused on another person for what I was doing. And when I was a kid, it was my family, and then it was my boyfriend, then husband, and then it was my children. So at 44 years old, this literally is the first time I literally think ever that I am waking up in the morning and I am the first person to consider in what do I need? What do I need to do today? What do I want? How long do I want to stay in bed? There's actually nothing for a couple of hours require me to getting up out of bed. I don't think in all of my 44 years I've ever been given the gift of being able to focus on me. And this is what I want to talk about today, because as the title of this episode is called, motherhood is a mind fuck. Here's why motherhood is a mind fuck. We as women, I'm going to assume you became a mother by choice because you wanted to have a child to raise, to give all your love. It's a mind fuck because we give and we give and we give and we give. And ironically, we're not supposed to expect anything or very much in return other than well-behaved children. Like we've taught them manners, they do their chores. It's a mind fuck because when they live at home, I check up on them and I know where they are. And then all of a sudden one day occurs and now I'm supposed to just let them go and not check up on them because that would make me kind of a helicopter mom or maybe too enmeshed or not boundary. And that's not really who I am as a mom. I'm just kind of saying conceptually. It's a mind fuck that one day they're here and one day they're gone. And yet, who am I now in this next part of my journey? And it's a mind fuck because it's like all of a sudden overnight, it's supposed to switch. And yet I'm still a mom. Of course, I'm a mom. I'm always going to be a mom. And to be honest, I'm really excited about the future stages of what my motherhood looks like. But I'm grieving because it's never going to look like the way it was. And just like at my divorce, the future at the time felt really scary because it was an unknown. What helped me get through my divorce was in the knowing that the unknown is where the possibilities reside. And that's where I get to create my life. And so it's like these competing emotions at the exact same time. The fact that I'm grieving and I'm really excited. The fact that I'm sad and I couldn't be filled with more pride in the past 18 years and the mother that I've been and the journey that I've been on. Pride and just like there's a Yiddish word of nachas, like the pride I have in my children for who they are. And yes, that's fundamentally who they are, but like my role in that and how I have guided and taught and role modeled and shaped them, and kind of like that example of how they left the note on my bed, like pride in knowing that they know that's a loving thing to do and that I left them notes in their suitcases. And I even had the thought like, maybe they'll leave me a note, but I didn't want to get over attached to it because I didn't want to make assumptions and I didn't want to feel let down. And then when they did, I was like, oh my God, they know me. Like they know me so well because we've created this relationship of authenticity and openness and friendship and communication. And being friends with your kids is a really sticky subject. And I've had this conversation with many of my clients and with my friends. And I actually am friends with my kids. And I'm friends with them in a way that is honest and real because it's always come from a place of respecting their sovereign nature, recognizing that I don't own them, that I'm here to guide them. But I'm friends with them because we authentically like each other and have fun together and get along. And yet I still have the title of mom and the respect of mom. But I'm grieving because I feel like my best two girlfriends just moved out because living together, and I know this is not typical of many mother-daughter experiences, mother-child, family dynamics. I know that this is atypical. But even still, in the difficult moments, in the chaos, in the arguments, in the lack of chores being filled in the messy house and the messy kitchen and the loud noise, even when it's not ease and peace and alignment and always getting along, it's unconditional. We're moms, we're parents, we do this, even when it's hard. And it's a mind fuck because then one day it's just different. And then there's the unknown of what will that relationship look like going forward. But what I really want to focus my part of this conversation on is how I get to now look to myself, how I get to rediscover, or perhaps even for some of you, or maybe even myself, discover for the first time, or maybe reclaim or revitalize who I am as a woman, as a person, outside of my role of being a mom. And for those of you who are partnered, being a wife or a partner. Because we, especially as women, we get so lost in our roles because we give and we give and we give. And it is a collective narrative that it is selfish to have self-care. So we feel guilty when we put ourselves first. We feel that any of that self-care needs to come with an excuse of, oh, I just need to go get my nails done, or, oh, I just need some time. Like we need to qualify it, that we need to define our need for it in a way that feels justifiable. But here's the thing. I've worked with women in various capacities for over 20 years. And it is a theme that so many women don't know who they are outside of being a mom. And then there comes this point, which I just hit, where their kids have left the house. And now they're up against this terrifying abyss of, what now? What do I do now? And the challenge for many women is they're like, well, I need a hobby. I need to figure out what I want to do with my time. Do I go back to my job? Well, it's been 20 years since I worked at that job. Is that the same career I want to be in? Is that what I even want? Wait, what do I even want? Oh, wait a second. I don't even know what I like. Wait, what do I need? What do I want? What do I like? What do I need? These are questions that moms, in the midst of raising kids, don't have the permission, the time, and their space to easily answer for themselves. And if they come up, what do I want? What do I like? What do I need? It quickly gets pushed aside to the collective want, like, and need of the family. So, what I want to offer to you as you listen to this is the permission, regardless of where you're at in your journey, whether you're a parent or not, but recognizing how much we get consumed by the roles that we are in, whether it's wife or husband or partner or mother or father or employee or son or daughter or friend. We get consumed by our roles that we enter into consciously and with awareness and unconditionally. And yet the soup of and means there's many things occurring at one time. And we don't often give ourselves the time, permission, or ability to tune into ourselves. So this whole motherhood is a mindfuck, is because one day it's there and then one day it's not. And yes, I'm always a mom, but my active role of momming, of being an active caretaker role in my home, whether that's carpooling and schlepping, or whether that's laundry or meals or helping with homework or bath time or consoling or advising or connecting or cuddling, my active momming, at least for these next 4 months until my daughter gets back from Israel. And they will return when my kids are both home, when she's home from college. Like, there will be those moments, but the active time frame of the 18 years of childhood, that is past. And I could cry at a moment's notice at how quickly it has passed. I just can't believe how quickly it has passed. And yet I'm grateful that I was present for the moments that I was consciously present for it. And as moms, there's a lot of moments we're not present for. And if you feel guilt or shame that you're not as present, there's always this next moment to practice. And yet, what I'm offering for you is permission, wherever you're at on your journey, to start to tune into the question and the practice of what now? Even if it's not where you're at right now at this moment, it's still a great practice to start preparing yourself for. So that way you don't get caught off guard when the roles shift overnight and you put your child on a plane or you move them into a dorm and you come home and their bedroom is perfectly clean as you've always asked them to have it. And it's clean because they're not there. And that's gut-wrenching. And if I did not have my mindfulness practice to fall back on, as I said, when I went through my divorce, the practice to enter into that soup of and, to say, I'm sad and I'm okay. I'm grieving and I'm excited. I'm proud of them and I'm proud of myself. I'm lonely and I'm perfectly fulfilled. The mindfulness practice to have compassion for myself for the hard moments. The mindfulness practice to allow and honor and accept whatever is arising in this present moment without judgment, but with compassion. The mindfulness practice to give myself the space to feel what I'm feeling. People have come to me and said wonderful words of kindness, like, oh, don't worry, they're happy. And my response has been, yes. And right now, I just want to feel what I'm feeling. And right now I'm feeling sad. And it's okay for me to be sad because it's an authentic response to this transition. The mindfulness practice to not ruminate into the past and to not fear the future, but to stay present and to say, today I get to choose how I move through my day. Even if that's as simple as saying, I want to have a power bar for dinner and go to Pilates at 7 p.m. because I can, or to say, I'm going to make a full meal, even if it's just me eating it. The mindfulness practice to have the awareness to know that none of these feelings are permanent. To know that it's actually all not permanent. The mothering journey of 18 years while your children are at home, it's not permanent. But also none of these difficult feelings, nor is the attachment to what's next. So this what now is this question of, okay, this is an opening, this is an offering, this is a gift, if I choose to see it as that way, of what now? What do I want? What do I like? What do I need? And many women don't know where to begin. Well, not knowing where to begin doesn't mean you don't need to not start. It just means, well, let's compassionately enter into self-inquiry. What a great place to start. To just sit with the question and allow whatever's arising to begin to arise. So I'm going to talk more about this. There's many layers to the whole motherhood is a mindfuck idea. But for now, it's this idea that one day they're home and one day they're not. And then how do I show up for me in a new way and for them in a new way that's really boundaried and healthy and giving everyone space and freedom and yet staying connected? It's a lot of competing values, competing emotions. It's why it's the soup of and. So not only am I going to be talking about it more on the podcast, but I am going to be doing a masterclass for those of you who are interested in yeah, I want to know what now. I want to know how to figure out what do I want? What do I like? What do I need? What now? Who am I outside of being a mom? Yeah, what now? So I'm doing a masterclass on Wednesday, September 28th. The link will be in the show notes for you to join me. And I will be guiding you through how to move through what now. wherever you are at, because even if you are not launching your kids, but you are in a different stage of your mothering journey from elementary to middle school to high school, pregnant to, having a baby, all of it is a shift. And at every shift is an offering, an opening to check in, to ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want? What do I like? What about me? Who am I outside of this role? So thanks for listening today. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to continuing the journey with you. There's so many great upcoming episodes. There's so much I want to share with you guys. There's so many new offerings I have. Like, part of my what now has been doing a lot of work on myself and where I'm at. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited for it to all manifest and to share it with you all, because I've got a lot to offer and I'm just beginning. So if you want to join me for the masterclass, What Now? How to reclaim, rediscover, renew, redefine your role outside of being a mom, join me. It's going to be awesome because we need it. It's hard and we can do it. And not planning or prepping for it doesn't make it go away. It's going to be here anyway. All right, you guys, the link is in the show notes if you want to join the masterclass. And if this episode spoke to you, please give a rating, a review, a share. If there's other moms, women, parents that you think that would resonate, thank you for sharing. I really want to spread the word of how we identify who we are outside our roles. This has been a core message and theme of mine for a long time in my work, and it needs more time and attention and space. So I look forward to continuing the conversation with you. So take care and be well.
To continue your journey forward, find Joree Rose on Facebook and Instagram to become part of her growing community. You can also gain access to her meditations, books, online classes, or to sign up for an upcoming retreat. Visit her at joreerose.com. That's JOREEROSE.com.